So how do you take cinematic drone footage? I think the first thing you want to think about is you want to avoid harsh light. So moments like this where the sun's setting and you got a golden hour, twilight hours where the sun and light exposure tend to be a little more soft. That way you're not overexposing your videos, and in post-production it becomes a little easier to color grade and it's not too harsh on the camera and the image itself. If you have to shoot in areas where maybe the sun is a little too bright, using the cover of buildings, trees, or objects to shade you from that harsh light can also soften up the image and help you out with your image quality. Another thing too that is pretty helpful is cloud cover. So cloud coverage is actually also going to help you a lot with softening the frame for you and the lighting. That may mean that a lot of times you may have to actually plan your shoot ahead of time, so where you may have no clouds on a given day for a little while, looking at the forecast is going to help and then give you a little more time to plan your shot. And in the end, it's a little factor, but it's going to impact the rest of your video or whatever you're trying to capture. Another technique that you're going to want to take advantage of is panning shots. So that's when you've got a subject and with your drone you slowly pan around it, or giving you more of the scenery around that object, but also giving you different angles of it. That allows the viewer to not only appreciate that subject on different angles, but also the environment around it, and the slowness of it just builds up and gives it more of a cinematic feel. You want to make sure that you're using slow movements in these camera panning shots, only because it allows the details to pop in the image and allows the viewer to take it all in. In a lot of drones, especially the DJI drones, you'll find that there's actually, aside from the normal and sport mode, you'll see a Cine, C-I-N-E mode, that's for cinematics. Flipping it onto that switch allows you more control of the drone because it's not going super crazy fast and just everywhere all over the place, although that's fun in its own environment. But the cinematic mode is going to allow you more control over the drone to get these panning sorts of shots. Another kind of shot that has become personally one of my favorite that you're going to find in a lot of cinematic movies or just videos in general is the panning up shot. So that's used to reveal a scene or a sequence of scenes, and that typically happens when the drone will either be moving, but while it's moving it may be going up as well, but the main point is that the camera starts to slowly angle upwards to reveal the scene. This can be used when revealing a shot that's maybe over a cliff or a landscape, just something grand, and it builds up the anticipation of what's coming up, especially if there's movement with the drone or you can see the ground moving underneath it. You're going to be anticipating what is it about to reveal. So that's a great cinematic shot that builds a lot of anticipation and can actually lead the viewer to wonder what's next and build that anticipation. One final point that I like to make sure that all my videos have is extending the shot. So whenever you're recording a particular subject, make sure that right before you get to that shot that you want to get to, make sure that there's at least somewhere like 10-15 seconds before. It could feel kind of meaningless, and then even afterwards. The reason that those two I love having is just because it allows for speed ramp transitions. That can seem a little more customizable, but I personally find it satisfying when I can transition from one shot to another using a more customized approach. This allows for the camera to look like it's moving so fast from one shot to another, and then in post-production all you have to do is just blend the two, and it seems like you have your own custom transition. You can use a lot of the ones that you'll typically find in editing software, but this kind of gives you a unique flair where you get to use your own scenic shots and they become the transition. So just make sure right before, if you're recording a particular subject, right before you get to that shot that you want, keep the camera recording, whether it's handheld or a drone, and just make sure that you record slowly, as slow as you can. What's up, guys? See you guys. That was fun. Just make sure that in order to give yourself a nice customizable transitional feel, and it feels really personal, just make sure you got 10-15 seconds before the subject and right after, so that you can just transition each frame to the next with speed ramping. And again, all you have to do is just go into post-production and then speed up those parts where you're actually speeding up, mesh them together, overlap the clips, and right there you've got your own little transition. I'll probably do a video on that a little later as to how in post you can actually achieve this. That's it for this week's video. If you guys found any value in it, please feel free to like that video, subscribe to this channel, it definitely helps me out. Let me know in the comment section what you guys thought. If there's anything else I missed that maybe you use that I could definitely benefit from, just let me know, and we will see you guys in the next video.